Yes, Nitin, we're good to go.
Okay, hope the screen is visible. Okay, so thanks everyone for joining today on a Monday. Basically. So today we are going to see what is UiPath Test Suite. So UiPath, we all know it is a leader in automation right now, especially the process automation side. So we'll also see about the new capability of UiPath, which is on testing domain. So So we need to first understand what is UiPath as a business platform today, so that we can see how testing is fitting in into this entire infra landscape what we have for UiPath. So UiPath categorizes automation into three different areas. So one is discover, second is automate, and third is operate. So if you see in Discover, UiPath has wide capabilities to discover the processes in an organization. So each and every step here we focus on automation, and that too an easy way of getting things done. So in Discover, we have the mining tools, which will help us mine process, task, communications channel like emails and things, and identify if there is any opportunities or any data metrics which is useful for us. And we can capture all those ideas into a portal kind of hub, which is accessed throughout the organization, so that there is a clear visibility of what is happening in the automation program for the organization. And coming to automate, we have this. I think we will be mostly involved in this automate phase. Each of us, like the development of automations, IT automation, and then using AI to build something, using Action Center and things. So all those comes under the automate area, and then finally there is an operate area. So this is where today we are focusing on. So we have continuous testing in the operate area where we are going to manage the organization testing for various things, right? It may not be an automation testing only, but it is actually wide across various things like application testing, automation testing, manual testing, whatever it can. So all these things will be fitting into this continuous testing layer. So we have other things also like analytics, governance, and flexible deployment. So UiPath as a tool or as a platform, it is so extensible and loosely coupled so that you can play around with any of these products along with your core product. Let's say your core product is test suite for today. So it's not about you're confined to use only the testing area of UiPath platform. It allows you to integrate your testing capabilities with any of the other tools out here. So for example, if you want to identify some of the processes which is having some critical zones where testing is required in more testing is required. So this process mining or other mining tools will help you identify those bottlenecks so that you can improve the area which is actually not performing well using some more test cases and things. And similarly, if you want to use analytics for your test results and test metrics, then you can use analytics into your testing routine. So this is how it's easy to operate with UiPath. So this is the main advantage of why we are going with UiPath Test Suite instead of other ones. So why do we actually need this kind of unified platform for testing? So what are the current challenges we face with the testing domain? So there are a few critical challenges or pain areas which is listed here. So one is maintenance. So the rate of change with the applications we have, right? Since cloud is introduced, the release is very frequent now. So when we have a cloud application, for example, it is going to get new releases every week or every month at least. So we need to make sure the application features are working fine and the release is not breaking any of the application features, either the new one or the existing previous features. So maintenance is very crucial because the release cycle is very fast nowadays, and we need to make sure all the applications are running fine. And it is applicable not only for applications, but for automations, mobile apps, any sort of systems which is getting released on a regular basis. And second is the complexity. So if you need to test something uh, on different platforms, right? It can be a Java app, it can be a mainframe, it can be any sort of technology out there. So we need some sort of unified platform. Like I know this, if I build a workflow and it should support any sort of applications out there. So that is not possible in our regular testing routine. Like we need to have different modules or different libraries, different technologies involved for different applications, target applications to be tested. So that is one of the major challenge where the skill set required is diverse. Like you cannot test an application with one skill set of what you have. And then the scope of testing. So if you are building an application in an iterative manner, which is obvious since we are adopting agile nowadays. So the scope of testing is kind of exponentially rising, right? Whenever you release a new feature into an application, it adds more overhead of test cases for the application. So we need to keep track of all those things, manage things properly, and then make sure the testing is also going through each and every step, and then we proceed for the final next steps like deployment and other things. So that scope currently it is bit tough to maintain, and you will be also using various tools for it, like to make sure the scope is in right place. And the resources. So resources can be of many things. Like one is the developers. For testing, for automation testing, you need to have various skill sets as we discussed based on the target application. And second, you also need more resources on the technical side, like the servers, toolings, whatever we have. So all those resources are a bit high and complex based on your test use case. And then tooling. So if you want to do API automation, you need to have a different tool. If you want to do a UI automation, you may need to have a different tool for it. And similarly for other types of test automations or manual testing. So all those things actually add a lot of weightage to the testing routine. So that's why we have a research report here done by Forrester, which concludes that testing needs a village. So when they say testing needs a village, it means you need a very huge team with specific roles and responsibilities to maintain your entire testing routine with ease. It's not like you just go ahead and then you just click something and you get an output. So you need an entire process in place so that you maintain all those things. So similar to what we do in development phase. So that's the main challenge for testing in the current market. So we also see there is a frequent change of application releases in recent months or years, like after we adopted cloud and things. So an IDC report says that 91% of organizations are releasing features in less than a month. So every month, at least every month, there is a feature release which is getting released for any applications or systems we have compared to the previous years in pre-COVID era. So these are all some of the high-level common challenges we face with testing, and we'll see how our product is going to help us overcome all these things. So before I go ahead into this, today we are going to see only the terms of the product and how the product is capable of doing things in UiPath. And in the upcoming sessions, you will be seeing the demonstration of the features and the product itself. So yeah, so UiPath offers two things. One is the platform. I mean, it's a unified platform. In the same platform, you can manage either if you want to perform the testing in a manual fashion, then yes, you can even use the platform. And then if you want to automate the testing process end to end, then again you can use the same platform. So it is supporting you for both the things. And coming to the management platform, you can manage your requirements in a more structured way and streamlined way. And you can even build your test cases, manual test cases in the platform and dump it into the platform to keep it again in a more structured way for reference. And then if you want to build an automated test case and you want to run it as a script every time there is a release or something. Even that is possible. So the main goal of this platform is actually the second part, which is to automate the entire testing flow. But organizations are still not adopted to entire end-to-end automation for the test suite, right? So if you want to migrate your current testing process or the uh, streamlined testing process, if you want to just convert your process into this, then you can first start with manual, where you will migrate your existing test platform into the test suite, and then slowly you will start automating all those manual cases which you have. So that's the specialty of this platform. It will also suggest you that some of the manual test cases what you have is going to be the potential candidates for automation testing. So it will also give you those suggestions, and you can actually start migrating those into the automation test cases area instead of having it manual for a long time. So you can start with manual, and then you will be moving all those things into your automation area. And then finally, you also have your connectors, which will help you to connect your external testing platforms into this test suite platform. So if you want to still use maybe Jira, for example. So if you want to still use Jira for maintaining the test cases, but you want to see all the metrics and other stuffs like running the automation cases, metrics, all those things in test suite, it's still possible. We have connectors. So you do your test case work in Jira, and then all the other things will be handled by test suite, and the data will be in sync between Jira and UiPath platform using those connectors. So it will help you like a two-way communication between both the platforms. So this is a high-level offering of what UiPath provides in terms of test suite. So we'll just go through the architecture of UiPath. So UiPath, we all know UiPath has three core products, which is kind of the centric heart of UiPath platform. So we have UiPath Studio, UiPath Orchestrator, and UiPath. So without these three, we cannot use any other products wisely in UiPath. So UiPath Studio is going to help you build some automations in terms of VB, C Sharp, and workflow building. And then we have Orchestrator, which is a centralized management platform for all your automations, robots, and all the resources with respect to the automation will be managed and stored in this Orchestrator platform. And then we have UiPath robots. So whatever the automations we build, it is going to be executed by the bots. So that bots will be managed inside the UiPath Orchestrator. I think this flow is something which we all know. So now coming to testing part. So UiPath Studio is a common tool, right? So we have some set of rules where we use something called activities, we build workflows. So that part is actually the same. No matter you do testing, you do development, you do something else. So anything we do is always the same, but the outcome is different. So this is the second major advantage of why we need to use test suite for our testing program. So if you are an RPA developer, with the same skill set, you can still build test cases on your own. I mean, build test scripts on your own. So that's the main advantage. And this will help you easily transition between roles. Or if you want to upgrade your role, then again, that is possible. So you can play in both roles actually. So with the one UiPath Studio 2, you can do all stuffs, automation, testing scripts, all these things. And second, you need to have a proper management platform to see what is happening in your testing, right? Similar to UiPath Orchestrator. So UiPath Orchestrator is a management platform for your process automations. So whatever the automations is doing, it, whether it is getting successful, failed, what transactions it is being processed, storing some files in the buckets to provide for the pod. So all those management for process automations will be done under Orchestrator. So in the same way, we also have UiPath Test Manager, which will be showing you the metrics which is related to testing. So test cases, requirements, test results, integrations between your test manager and other platforms. So all those resources for testing will be managed under UiPath Test Manager. So it is available with two offerings from UiPath. One is on cloud, if you have your cloud enabled, then you can also have this new license added to it, which is Test Manager as a platform, and then you can start using the Test Manager platform from there. And you can also use Test Manager in your on-premise server inside your organization. If you don't want to use cloud, then yes, you can install Test Manager into your on-premise server to start using the Test Manager. So this is how you can set up. And as I said, you have two licenses. One is for platform license, which is UiPath Test Manager, and second is the user-based. If you want to use Test Manager as a user, then you have licenses like automation developer, attended testing user, and testing robots. So we can use all those things for accessing the testing capabilities of UiPath. And all these sections which we discussed now, which is Test Manager, Studio, Orchestrator, and Pods, is all inside UiPath. But we were also discussing it is capable of actually integrating with the external platforms. So that is where the connectors come into picture. So if you want to connect your test manager with your other external platforms like SAP, ServiceNow, Jira, and any of the ALM platforms or any sort of platforms which you want to integrate, then you can use the connectors. So this will help you to send data out to your systems or receive something from the system. And also, if you want to trigger something based on an event in your other applications, then still you can use the same connectors for it. So it will be kind of a low code connection. So you will be configuring something inside the platform to connect to your applications in a low code manner. There is no coding or something like that. It is all low code. And apart from all this, you will also you can also use some CLI tools to just make sure your pipelines are set in place. So this is the DevOps pipelines which we have in an automated fashion again to run your test cases in an automated way, like triggering your test cases in an automated way. So currently, UiPath also has its own pipeline platform, which is called Automation Ops. Even that is capable of integrating your test suite cases. So UiPath is actually going in route kind of you will be having your test cases built, and UiPath will allow you to run your test cases whenever there is a release in your application or your automation, any sort of system. So in this way, if you have a new release coming up in your pre-prod, for example, before it goes to prod, obviously it comes to pre-prod. So if your change is currently in pre-prod, there will be a testing robot which is executing your test scripts in pre-prod on a prescribed frequency by you, so that you identify your breakage before your new release goes to production, so that we are ready for our new automations or new changes in the system before it goes to production. So this way, the impact we will be reducing the impact and making sure we are on track. So all these things comes for you in a single unified platform instead of going into multiple other platforms. And then we were discussing about this tooling challenge. If you want to automate mobile apps, you need to use a different testing tool, or if you want to use if you want to test the APIs, you want to use a different tool. So that is overcome using UiPath. So we have capabilities in UiPath which will support n number of application technologies, and some of the critical technologies mentioned here. So we can automate web apps, Citrix apps, mainframes, mobile apps, SAP, Salesforce. So all sort of applications is supported. And other important point is we can reuse some things which we use for actual automation. So since we are using one unified tool for both process automation and testing, if we are going to build something in process automation, which we feel may be useful for in also testing, so we don't will not build that again end to end. We'll use that as a library in both the places. This way we reduce our time to build right for the test scripts as well. So this is the overall architecture of what we have for the test suite, which can be used for our testing routines. And we'll quickly see how to access the platform in the cloud and how it looks. And then I will hand it over to Srinivasan for the further.
Yeah, Nitin, maybe let's take another 2 minutes to just
Yes.
address if there is any query from any of the people here in the group. So just please feel free to raise your hand so that we'll try to unmute so that you can ask any queries. It could be not, it could be something like based on what has been shared by Nitin so far, or it could be something beyond that. Let's say you want to know how test suite works, or like, we will try to address if possible, or if not, we'll also suggest you to wait so that it will get covered in the next few minutes. So please feel free to raise your hands or put your questions in the chat so that we'll address. We'll take another 2 minutes before we go ahead further. Any questions so far?
Uh,
Okay.
Palani,
Yes.
I have a small clarification here.
Yeah.
For example, as you guys suggesting that we can able to migrate the things from other technology, I mean other tools to test manager also. I'm like, if you take an example of ALM or QC, like the Microsoft Micro Focus product. So there, for example, if you take any kind of a test case, right, probably whatever the fields which we are having there, right, for example, there are 10 fields are there, like a test case priority or a test case severity. For example, there are 10 fields are there. So the same kind of 10 fields are not available in our test manager side, for example. If this is the case, do we have any flexibility to create any kind of customized columns like that?
Mm. What do you mean by fields? Maybe if you can
For
explain
example,
that.
when you are trying to create a test case, right? So I will give the test case title, test case description, actual result, expected result. Generally, these are all the main mandatory columns. Apart
Mm,
from that, we have separate columns like a priority or a severity and the test department. Like, I mean, what exactly the application which we are using. I mean, there are some kind of customized columns which
mm.
department it is related to. So which domain it is related to, something like that. I mean, it all depends on the
Okay.
application, it's on the
Okay.
environment.
Okay. I
It,
get your question. Yes.
my concern here is I have seen there are some customized columns where we can able to create in terms of other tools, but I haven't seen the similar kind of thing. I mean, as of now, probably I don't know whether it is implemented in future or not. That I don't know. So the customized fields cannot able to do it in our test man. I mean, UiPath test manager set. That is my concern here.
Mhm. Okay, so coming to the priorities, I understand the way the test cases should get executed. That's what you mean as priority, right? Like in the order that it gets executed. I think it is there in the preview stage. We recently saw an update on that, that you will be able to execute the test cases on your priority. Let's say test case one and test case, it shouldn't be test case two which gets executed. You can set the priority like test case 10 has to get executed so that you can set the order that is there. And when you say about categorizing the projects or the test cases under each department, I would say like you can keep it under the project. Like a project can be made for a specific department or a specific component or a product, so that under that product you can build projects and then keep those relevant test cases. In that way, you can segregate and categorize your test cases even from the project level. So that's the second thing. And did I miss any other question, or maybe if you can repeat, I can explain it. I think you're on mute, Tarak, if you're speaking. Can't. Okay, let me do it. Right, 1 second. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you suggested, that till some part it is acceptable, but uh, yeah, I mean
So,
that's. I mean,
uh,
as of now, it is good to go actually.
Mm,
Maybe once people started using that, right? Maybe we can all. I mean, they'll provide these kind of customizations a little bit later, I guess. I think so.
yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
so Tarak, just to add to the point what Palmi was mentioning, so there are some custom fields as well. So there are two things. Priority, uh, custom field is there, but I don't think for priority we can use it like because since the feature is already available as Palmi was explaining. So we have custom fields where you can also add. Maybe I'll show you a glimpse of it in the platform now, and you can use it actually for any of your custom test fields apart from the predefined fields in the platform.
Yeah, I think he got. Maybe you can still raise your questions and then we can discuss further. But any other questions from anyone? Let me check the chat. Okay, we'll try to address in the meantime. So keep raising your questions in the chat. We'll proceed further. Yes, Nitin, we are. Please
Okay.
proceed. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll just see a very high level glimpse of how to access the test suite from the cloud. So I hope you can see my browser screen where I'm showing the cloud. So this is our automation cloud. I hope everyone know how to land to the screen. So this is the home page. Once you log into the cloud platform, provided you have your license, at least the community license enabled. So this is the home page, and let me quickly refresh this page. So in the list of platforms inside the cloud menu, so we'll be seeing Test Manager. To see this, you need to enable that in your admin, and provided you have the license, you can enable it, or at least you need to have the trial. So, and then you can access the Test Manager platform from there. So this is all it is going to look like. So you can create a number of projects for testing here, and inside the project, you'll be having all your test testing resources. So you'll be having a dashboard. Currently, it is empty because we don't have much data out there. So you'll maybe in the upcoming demonstrations, you'll be seeing the data filled dashboards as well. So you'll be seeing the results overview, coverage rate, automation rate, uh, requirements. You can document all your requirements, test cases, and another feature which is coming out soon is the autopilot. I hope you would have already seen in other products of UiPath. So here, even in Test Manager, you're going to get an autopilot, which is going to help you create test cases technically based on your requirements, which you document here. So let's say if you have a requirement where you deal about login of an application, or maybe creating uh, a form, something like that, then the test cases will be auto-generated for you based on the instructions which is provided in the requirements. And then we have test sets, which is to group your test cases and things, and then the results of the test executions and project settings. I think this is where we have this custom field definitions, which you can use maybe directly if you want to explore later. And we have integrations where we can add external connections, which we were discussing, and some time settings here. So, and the access control is also available. If you want to provide specific users access for this project, then you can assign those users here. So again, the functionality or the usage of this platform, right? Experience of this platform is kind of similar with other UiPath products. There is nothing new. Uh, if you have used Orchestrator already, then this platform looks pretty similar to that. So the same experience. So this is how the platform looks like, and we can start using this platform once you have your testing routines in place. So any questions, or I think I'll hand it over to Srini for some slides.
Okay, so we have got few questions.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go with the first one. Why should we choose UiPath Test Suite over Selenium? Please provide some valid points considering the cost of Studio and Test Manager. See, so when you're using UiPath over Selenium, and if you are already having UiPath platform for your RPA projects, converting your bot license to a testing bot won't take much time, and that is completely possible. The only cost you might see is with Test Manager and the test license. Even the bot license you can easily convert with the help of UiPath support team. So when you bring in Test Manager, There are so many advantages over Selenium there. Right. First thing is you being a developer can access it and then do things. And you can also add users across your organization, and they can be even business users or the product team who can access it. Which I mean about the test manager, which is a web application. So you can have the access management and controls spread across your organization. So that's one thing. And the second thing is this test suite allows you to do both manual and automated testing. So it is not constrained only to automated or only to manual. You can do both. That's a second advantage. And the third thing is you can do automation on any kind of applications with ease. And you know how RPA works with UiPath, right? It's just the conversion of an RPA bot to a test case. So that's what we mean as uh, test automation becomes easier for a person who is an RPA developer. So if you know how to build an RPA bot, you can easily build test bot as well. So that's how that transition is very easy. That's the third thing. Another thing is you can do any kind of test automation. It can be a web-based or an API or a mobile app, or it can be done any sort of application like thick and thin. It can do it easily with test suite. That's the fourth thing. And the fifth one, which I really wanted to highlight, is that you can have it scheduled and then you can have it customized as you need. And it has also got some of the uh, cutting edge technologies like the groundbreaking stuff like SAP heat map and Gen AI features with autopilot. There are so many very good features that will really ease you to do any kind of test automation. And SAP heat map is something that every organization will really find it very useful, because if an organization uses SAP, you can use this SAP heat map to prioritize your test automation, and then you can act upon it in a very easy way. So that's something, a special feature I would say, which none other tool has it. So there's so many features, but if you ask me, and if I have to say uh, out of my mind, and these are the points I see, but there's a website I can share you the link where you can look at all the benefits that you can find out of it. Hope I answered your question. Do we have the capability of rec test traceability as well? I think Nathan has already answered. Yes. You can trace it, you can have it as a report, you can share it across. There's so many features inbuilt, and then you'll get to see it once you have a deep dive session on it, which is our very next session. We'll also share the links at the end of the session so that you can enroll yourself and look at how it works. And can you please provide a difference between UiPath Test Manager and RPA Framework Library of Robot Framework? I can add a point on that. Maybe I'll also interested to know from you, like Rahul or Nitin. So start from my side. I see both are actually different from each other, because uh, framework is something that you use inside uh, UiPath Studio, right? You basically use a framework to build a bot and then deploy it. But Test Manager is altogether a different web-based application where you try to manage and uh, deploy your test cases, or even create or define your test cases. So Test Manager is a web application where a developer or a product team or a business team can access it. And that's the place where you create test cases, or you can even integrate to any other external systems like Azure DevOps or Jira or any systems, where there you can create the test case and then you can make an integration so that the moment you create a test case there, it gets auto reflected in the test manager. And then from there you can build a test set, and then you can make it manual or automated testing, and then you can execute it and then create a report for further analysis. And at the end you can even mark that as a defect so that it reaches back to the tool, the LM tool, and then the product team or the business team can have a view on it, or the product development team can have a view on it and then fix those bugs. While the RPA framework, the library is something very different, and it is used for RPA. Uh, but if I have to link to a certain extent, you can use that RPA framework for building a test case. In a way, let's say you have a test case and the test case have some set of test actions. And if you want to build that as a bot, you can have this RPA framework used there, and then you can make that bot and then publish it as a test case. So that is what I see. And maybe I would like to hear from Nitin or Rahul. You can add some points on that before we go for the next question. Or
Yeah,
is
Yeah,
everyone
I
on the
no,
same
think
page?
you already answered that, Pallavi. So it's like, as you mentioned, like a test manager is like a portal where we can bring up the BAs or manual testers and the automation testers. Plus, you can add up the management team as well. Like they will be more interested, like how our automation is going on and how much part of our project is already automated. So all those details will be available in the test manager. So when I mentioned about the BAs, like there is an option for adding up the requirements as well, like from where the BAs can collect the requirements, where they can generate the documents and attach the requirements. And from based on that requirements, manual testers can write their own manual test cases. So all those options are readily available directly with the test manager. And as per the question, what I understood is like we may be asking about the RE framework. Yes, the RE framework mainly will be using for creating our processes in UiPath Studio as part of our designing and development.
And while Rahul was mentioning, I also had a point to highlight to Kiran, one who raised on what is the use of UiPath over Selenium. See, UiPath test suite can be used in two ways. You can use it to test your products or the capability and the components within a product, test it as an application. Whereas you can also test some of the RPA process that you have built so far. So whenever you build an RPA process, you will be having some phases like development phase, testing phase, and the deployment phase, right? And you can use this test suite in that testing phase of an RPA development. So you can convert an RPA process, let's say main.xaml or any XAML file. If you just right click it, you get an option to convert that as a test case. And then once you convert that as a test case, you will land up in a framework like given, when, and then. You can see a structure there, given, when, and then. Your bot or the XML fall under the when case, and then the then block will give you how many test data that you have passed or have cleared the session, and then how many got failed. You get that report. So when you deploy a GXP bot or a very critical and a data driven bot, and if you want to share that as a document, like how many test data got passed and failed, you can convert that XML file as a test case, and then you can get that report. So here, if you see, test suite can be used either to test an application, be it a web or a mobile or any kind of application. And at the same time, you can also use it to test an RPA process, an RPA XML file as well. So that's something unique, and then you can leverage that from the UiPath products itself. So that's again another important advantage that I want to highlight. Could you please let us know some of the use cases of test suite and its benefit provided? I'll try to share a link where we have some use case repository, and you can refer that because it's quite lengthy topic, and if I take now, it will easily accommodate the next 45 minutes. So I'll share the link so that you can have a view on it, and then you can get back to us anytime. So I think we have covered all the questions so far. With the interest of time, let's get to the next topic.
So
Yes,
yes, stop sharing and screen awesome.
Thanks, Nitin. Can you able to hear me, Nitin?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Can you able to see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Myself, Srinivasan Kannan. Thanks for joining the session today. Let's get started. So already there are so many questions about test automation, process automation. What is the difference between them all? So here I'm going to talk about difference between test automation and process automation, and followed by test automation engineer roles and career paths in test automation. So let's talk about the test automation. So what is the difference between test automation and process automation? So UiPath has both the capabilities, test automation and process automation. So when it comes to test automation, so it's going to verify the functionality of the software. So when it comes to process automation, it is going to verify the RPA workflow execution and results. So let's say, I have created the RPA workflow to automate the process. So in order to test that particular workflow, whether it is working or not, so we can create a RPA test cases. So using that RPA test cases, we can test that particular workflow, whether it is executing as per the logic, and also we can verify the result using that. So there is a no different there is a RPA workflow test suite, and so that you will get to know in the upcoming session practically. So when it comes to test automation, so as I said, it's going to verify the functionality of the software. So functionality of the software in the sense, let's say, I want to write the test cases for UI automation. So UI automation in the sense, let's say login page. So I want to test the functionality of the particular login page. Then I can go with the, we used to say test automation. So similar like login page and dashboard page. So this kind of or else we can say that UI UI testing or API testing, DB testing. So integration testing with the API. So there are so many uh, uh, domains, right? So there we use a test automations. So in UiPath, we have a different platform as Nitin shared with us. So starting from the discover, we use a process and task mining, and followed by we have a test management where we use a test manager and test automation and robotic process automation where we test our workflows, and this is where we test our applications. And also we have a centralized platform that is we used to call Orchestrator, where we monitor process as well as monitor our test cases and executing the test cases. And also we have a robots, and so we have a different types of robots. We say test robots and RPA robots. Test robots we use to run the test cases, and RPA robots we use to run the workflows. That is RPA workflows. And so moving on to the next. So as Nitin shared his live screen, so which is about a test manager and orchestrator. So where we can create the test cases and manage the test cases, and also we can view all the test cases result as well. So you will get to know all upcoming all about this test manager, test suites, and how to create the test cases, and where to create the test cases, and where to maintain the test cases, and how to run the test cases, everything in the upcoming session. And also using the test manager, and we can while into test automation. So you can reduce 80% of defects and 90% of automation rates, and you and also you can increase the speed 3x. And also there are a lot of reusable components which is available, and you can utilize those reusable components to make your job easier. And also you can reduce compared to using the other testing tool in the market. And if you're using UiPath, and you can reduce 30 to 40% of cost reduction. And so this is one of the major features about this test. And so here So as you all know, so nowadays testing is going into digital. So as we discussed earlier, and there are a couple of questions as well. So Palani explained that no, there is a business. We can categorize business tester and test automation engineers. So test automation engineers, fully they occupied with application software testing, and business tester, so they will involve into RPA workflows, and sometimes both they will involve into vice versa. So before that, we need to understand the test automation engineer role. So as you know that a test automation engineer is responsible for designing, developing, and maintaining automated tests for software application. And they use automation testing tool, so like UiPath or Test Manager framework to create a script or code that simulate user interactions and verify the functionality of the software. And also in the RPA side, we use to create the test cases to verify the workflow execution and the result. So moving on to the next, and so how to become a test automation engineer. So it's very easy. So if you are already in a RPA domain, so if you are a RPA developer, so it's very easy to upskill your skill set to become a test automation engineer. So you need to be expertise about UiPath test suite. Then you need to be familiar with building a workflow using a studio, and so we need to be so we need a little bit of knowledge about VB and C sharp, and also good amount of knowledge in version control systems. And we need to we need to understand about what is the life cycle approach in RPA. And also you need to fully understand about the architecture and capturing the KPI metrics. So, so there are a couple of high-level responsibilities about test automation engineer role. The first thing is, as I said, test design and development, and the next one is the collaboration and communication between stakeholders, so that you will understand what is their requirement and what needs to be done. So that is the important thing. And also the test automation maintenance. So we can maintain and update test automation framework or script and data to align them with the changes in the application and test requirements. And also test process improvement. So identify the opportunity to enhance the test automation process. Let's say, while creating the test cases, so why we are creating the test cases, why we are testing the applications. So to improve the accuracy of the applications, right? So that is a important thing while creating the test cases. And so that will be very helpful to maintain your software applications up to date and without any bugs. And also I want to talk about the learning path, how to become a UiPath or test automation engineer. So there are a couple of things we need to do to become a test automation engineer. So first, there are no couple of UiPath Foundation Test Manager Foundation courses. I will show you where it is available. And then once it is done, and you can take courses, diploma courses from UiPath Academy. There are a lot of courses available. So once you are familiar with the test suite and test manager, and you can go and take the certification courses from UiPath. And also I will share my screen, and I will show you what are the course there, and how to do that, and what are the job opportunity available in the market for test automation engineer. So following the upcoming sessions are UiPath test suite, a deep dive session, and also there are there are 3-4 sessions, upcoming sessions, and you will get to know practically how to use test manager and the end-to-end project development as well. Let me share my, give me a second. Okay, so hope you all have access to UiPath Academy. So if you don't have, please register today and go through the courses. And there are a lot of courses based on the role and based on the product. And so here, we are more into UiPath Test Manager. So if you filter, if you once you going into courses and then just filter with the test automation engineer role, and so that you will see here I have filtered test suits, and so from the beginner, intermediate, advanced, and you will see a lot of courses here. So how to do the testing with the SAP, and so how to execute the testing from robots and orchestrator for testing, and also cross-browser API and desktop apps testing with the Studio, and UiPath Test Manager overview. And there are so many courses here: coded automation for testing, and RPA testing with the Studio. So this is different one. And mobile device automation with the UiPath Test Suite, and application testing with the UiPath Test Suite. And so a detailed course about UiPath Test Manager. So if you go through all these courses, and so almost you are become a test automation engineer. So this is the right platform where you can learn test automation, not only test automation, and you can learn all the UiPath product. So moving on to next. So there is a test automation engineer training, so which is a bundle. So before taking test automation engineer certification, so you can go through this test automation engineer training, so which is having so all the courses. So instead of going through one by one, so sometime you may get confused where to start and how to start. So which course is the starting one. So if you go to this test automation engineer training bundle, and you will get to know, I mean, if you go through one by one, so you will learn in the right path. So this is the one of the added advantage, so which is available in UiPath Academy. And also, if you are not enough so after going through these courses, and also after going through this bundle, so if you want to still if you wanted live sessions, and you can go through I mean, you can go to YouTube and search UiPath Test Suite or UiPath Test Manager, and you will get a lot of videos there. And so all the videos are practical, so from the test manager overview to and the end-to-end project development, I mean, end-to-end test case creation, so which is including both application testing as well as the RPA testing. And so this is the certification, UiPath Certified Professional Test Automation Engineer Professional. So if you are into testing domain, or if you want to become a test automation engineer in UiPath, and you can take the certification. So before that, you need to be very strong in UiPath test. So and along with that, so this is the UiPath community event page. So where you will see all the events, upcoming events. And here I filtered Chennai chapter, and you will see that this is the today's session, and so there are upcoming sessions, session 2, session 3, 4, and there you will see a lot of practical. Don't miss it. And just know, Parani will share the link with you all, and you can go and register and
Yeah.
join the session.
Yeah, so the links
And
are already, sorry to interrupt, Srini, like just to add to what you said, I have shared the links in the chat so that you can, there's a couple of links which are shared. One is to join the UiPath Chennai's official chapter and the Chennai's WhatsApp group, through which you'll be able to have the instant update of any kind of an event, or you can even discuss with any peer developers and get clarified with your doubts if you have any. We have almost 350 plus members in the group. I know WhatsApp has some limit in the group, but still we are overfilling. But we have so many members who are so dedicated and passionate to help others. So you can use that opportunity and enroll yourself, and you can join that WhatsApp group. That's still optional to you, where we have the other link to join the official group, official page of UiPath for Chennai chapter. So if any event happens in future, you will get to know it instantly through email, and you can join that. And apart from these two links, I have also shared a couple of links for the next session of in the series on this test automation engineer. And we have many interesting people joining as a speaker for this session, like how we have Nitin and Srini today. We are also bringing Rajneesh from Sydney, who is going to be the speaker for the next deep dive session. And followed by that, we'll also have something to know more about test automation and beyond its actual features, like mobile automation, API automation, what are the autopilot features, and how a citizen person, like a business person, can use test suite using Studio Web. So that will be the third session, which is beyond test automation. That's about this topic. And the final session, which is going to be very interesting for people who wants to appear for test automation engineer certification. So we will be bringing Patrudu and Sai Kiran, who has recently cleared that test automation certification, more than 95%, and they are really good at that. So we are bringing them to share their experience on how they cleared it and how to prepare to such extent, so that people or student or any person who is so enthusiastic to learn about it and then earn it through a certification, you can use that session and then you can join there. So it'll be pretty interesting. So we have these kind of lineups for you. You can enroll yourself and you can share it with any person who is interested to learn this. I would appreciate if anyone of like college staffs are here, like I see Bhuvaneshwar is still here. So if any college professors are here, you can share it to your students so that they can know how to start their journey in test automation and then earn as a certification. And if you are an RPA person or ANML person, you can, if you are still willing to know about test automation, you can enroll and share it with your friends. And if you're already a test automation engineer, and if you want to know how to craft at least a certification or know something, the extra features it has, so then you can enroll for the relevant sessions. So I have already shared the links. You can start enrolling, and anyone working on workday testing using. Okay, I will come back to the questions, but I think it's shared. I mean, like maybe Nitin and Srini, can you please confirm if you're able to see the links in the chat?
Yeah. Links are available.
Okay. So Vijay, I think you can just scroll up a little bit in your chat and look at the links. If you aren't able to, I can reshare. Okay. But Srini, like maybe let's take a pause for another 2 minutes and see if there is any questions, and then we can still can continue it further. Like,
Sure.
please feel free to raise your hands and then you can unmute yourself. You're allowed to unmute yourself and ask queries if you have any. I think I've enabled everyone to unmute yourself and then you can ask your questions. Yep. Yes, I think you can unmute. We'll go one by one. Dimatar, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrongly, but were you able to unmute yourself? Yeah, I think you're
Okay.
either. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So it's a bit late here, so just trying to sort of stay concentrated. Just curious, what type of analytics and reporting can come from this testing process? and also from RPA as well.
So what do you like to know about it? Is it?
Well, for example, we run the test cases. We want to see, for example, how much was executed, what was the performance, percent of successful, not all that stuff that normally comes from ALM style of test, the quality center, but also in terms of has the process, for example, if you run a test and then there's some changes and then rerun sort of regression testing, you want to see whether the process has improved or maybe, you know, slows down or whatever happens, just to better understand the performance of the, not just performance, but the actual functionality of the system. Does not have to be just test cases, but we run some general analytics in terms of before and after.
Okay, I got your question. So I'll try to highlight the features which addresses your queries. Maybe I'll go one by one. The first thing is, yes, there are some analytical features in test suite. First thing is about once you have executed a test set, which will basically have some group of test cases, right? So it will generate a report like how many test cases. I'm sorry, like if Srini, can you please unmute yourself? Mute yourself, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So,
I'm
Dimitri,
sorry,
so
like I heard a background voice, so that's why I'm sorry to interrupt. Okay, thank you. So once you have executed a test set, you get to see the number of test cases that got passed and failed that you can export as a report. First thing. The second thing is you also get as a dashboard where how many test cases got passed and failed on a daily basis and for specific interval of time. You can even export that as an image or as a chart. That's the second possibility. The third thing is we have some GenAI feature within Test Manager where once the analysis or once the test case execution is over, you can use that GenAI feature to know how many test cases got passed and where it got passed and where it got failed. And you can even get some recommendations and suggestions from GenAI so that you can work on the specific test cases and get those fixed, and then you can prioritize. That's another excellent approach which we recently witnessed, and it was really nice. I would appreciate if you can give a try on that with the GenAI features. That is basically the autopilot feature. And apart from that, apart from the analytics part, you can also have some screenshots saved. So when I say screenshots, when a test case gets passed or failed, you can capture the screenshot of the place where it got passed or the place where it got failed. Let's say you're running a test case and some exception happened with the system. And if it fails, then it takes a screenshot at that particular point and it saves in the test manager so that you get to know why it got failed and you can even use that for your documentation. That's another way of building the reports. And of course, an RPA bot can usually prepare its own report with an Excel or with the Power BI. So you can still use that. And finally, to mention in terms of a recording, you still have an option to have a recording that comes with the orchestrator. So that whenever you execute a test case in unattended mode, you can record that execution as a session and then have it saved. So there's so many features you can make it out of it as a report or even use it for analysis. I hope I answered some of your questions, or I mean, like, you have any further questions on top of it?
Yeah,
All right.
Palani, actually, Rahul here. So I already shared the link of AI-powered testing sites. So maybe Dimitar can look into that. I believe that will be helpful.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. So I'll have to investigate. And yeah, I would be curious about Gen AI capabilities in terms of, for example, suggesting, for example, if there are some issues, what will be the impact of which components will be affected back to the requirements, rather than somebody going and sort of trying to sort of think themselves. This would help actually have some automation to
Yeah.
to see the impact that these particular bug would affect the original requirements, functionality.
Yeah. So you get that as a feedback once you have executed a test set. So I think it's now in a public preview. You can still access it, I believe. I'm not sure with which version it is out, but it's out, I believe, like because we recently had an update from UiPath that people can use GenAI features uh, in Test Manager. So please give a try. But anyhow, we have a dedicated session on that, which comes under the Beyond Test Automation, where we'll be trying to cover all these autopilot features and much more beyond just a normal automation or test automation. So I would appreciate if you can enroll yourself to that so that you get some more insights on that. Yeah.
Very quick question. So we are talking here about Gen AI in terms of English language. How does this cover the other countries where English is not domain? Even if they might use English, but it might not be actually very capable of, being precise for what Gen AI expects.
That's true. Leveraging this Gen AI features with the test suite. So I feel like maybe a few more languages will get added, and I have seen that once in their demo in their immersion lab execution, but it will be there. It's there in the roadmap and it's there in the staging. So it will soon get released in the cloud, I believe, the community version, so that you can expect that soon. That's what I can comment now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Thanks for your questions, Timothy. That was nice. Yes, Srini, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thanks, Palani, for the detailed walkthrough about this upcoming session. And sorry for the background noise. Okay, so let's talk about the jobs about not in the test automation domain. So let's say I'm no fully upskilled myself, become a test automation engineer. So is there any job available in UiPath become a UiPath test automation? And there are, yes, if you go and search in the job UiPath testing jobs, and there will be a different roles for the uh, test automation domain. So you will see the test automation architect, RPA tester, and RPA test engineer, RPA developer, and test automation architect. So there are so many roles available, and yes, definitely you can apply for that. And so yeah, if you search in LinkedIn also, you will get to know that UiPath test suite lead. And so yes, there are a lot of opportunity for the test automation engineers. Yeah, that's it from my end. Yeah, Palani, take over.
I think there's a confusion in the name. Like there is another Srinivasan in our chat, so who has raised his hand. So maybe we'll take his question. But thank you so much, Srini. I appreciate for the insightful session. But Srini, like this is a Srinivasan, like there's another Srinivasan, I believe. Like maybe you can unmute yourself and then ask your questions.
Oops.
Yes, Srini, I think you are. I think you can unmute, or if you couldn't.
I think both are same. Funny.
Is it
If
so,
by
Srini?
mistake he raised his hand.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah,
So
that's
am I
different.
audible?
Yes,
Oh,
Srini.
it's another one. Okay.
Okay, yes, Srini. I
Yeah.
can. Yes,
So
Srinivasan. Yes, please go ahead.
yeah, see, my question is like, see, we know, right, that automation is something like where we can just automate the repetitive kind of task, right? So I have a question like with respect to test automation. Say for example, we are releasing some feature maybe based on the GUI, and there are some buttons or something which we are going to add it and which we are going to test it, right? So how we can, I mean, like automate the release, like maybe like before maybe pre-prod or something. How we know like how we can do the testing, right? So see, usually the manual testing will take place like where we will write the steps and we will just, I mean, post the release, we will just test it and we'll pass the test cases, right? But with respect to the test automation with UiPath, maybe test manager and maybe something,
how we can achieve that, how we know that, I mean, like prior to the release, right? So this is something like maybe I have a maybe thin layer of question, because I wanted to pitch in. See, usually I understand like maybe when there is a regression test cases where the cases which will be executed maybe for every release where we can place the automation, right? So those cases we can automate and we can just do the automation through the test manager, maybe whatever the tools available. But when there is a product which is in development and which is coming for a testing, means how we will write the code in the I mean UiPath, and how we can test that. So that's the question I have. And apart from this, say for example, like we are bringing all the third party connectors and everything to the test manager, right? So when we are creating a requirement in a Jira, like there are some cases which we need manual attention, and which can be tested only in the like manual fashion. So in that case, does UiPath allows like maybe like the segregation between the automated test cases as well as the manual test cases? Is there any segregation between these two type, maybe in our test manager?
Yeah, I'm sorry, like I just heard the last few seconds of your explanation, but maybe the first part or how many questions, whatever you have asked, maybe I would appreciate if Rahul or anyone moderators you can answer that. But to
Yeah.
answer your last question, uh, yes, there are possibilities to have manual and automated testing the same place and in a segregated way. So you can have your manual testing also described, and you can also have an automated test script also attached to it, so that it becomes your choice to choose whether to go for manual testing or automated testing. So the test manager allows you to have that both enabled, and then you can choose anyone when you are executing it. So that's possible. I hope that answers your question, but is it anything else that you are looking apart from this? Maybe Nitin or Rahul, please help me out.
Yeah. So yeah, Pallik, maybe I will answer. So, Srini, it's like in Test Manager itself, we can keep our manual test cases and we can keep our automation test cases. So there are two type of execution we can do. One is manual execution. It will be like a one by one. So currently, how we are doing the manual testing, right? You'll be going through the manual test document and you'll mark whether the particular test is completed or not. In the same approach, in Test Manager, you can go through each step and you can make it as a pass. Okay, that particular step you can make it as pass or fail. Okay, so that is one possibility with the manual testing in Test Manager. And instead, if you want to go for a automation testing, that also you can execute. Like once you write your test cases, you can directly create your test set, and you can directly execute it from the Test Manager. Okay, so that is another possibility. So both manual as well as test automation, you can club it in the uh, test suite.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul. And some of them have asked for the job portal. So I have shared a link in the chat, so that's basically a job portal from UiPath forum. If you are looking for any jobs in terms of test suite or any RPA related stuffs, you can look at it and then you can apply for it if you're interested. And yeah, any other questions? We still have 5 minutes left. I hope people. Okay. I think we have covered all the questions. Maybe please feel free to turn on your camera so that we'll have a quick picture and then you can share it in your social media platforms like LinkedIn. Yeah. I think we have one question, but yeah. Yes, Vijay.
Hey, Parni, Nishant have added me into the group last week. So we are trying to leverage UiPath for our workday testing, which is kind of a new thing for most of them. We are trying to leverage Workday for the release testings. So year on year, we have two releases from Workday. So wherein we need to test the integration reports, security, business process, and all of that stuff. So I just wanted to know, like, anyone is already working on Workday related automation testing. There are products already available in the market. Since we have the license, we thought of leveraging this in our projects.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but what kind of support you're looking for? Because we can guide you maybe in terms of how to implement it or how we can implement in a better way, but it depends from org to org, so that how to utilize your existing license and all those part can be guided with the help of the TAM, if you have, like the technical account manager assigned for your org, or you can even reach out to UiPath support team so that they can pitch in and see what kind of license you have, and then they can help you out to accommodate in the best way.
Yeah, we are already in talks with the senior management and also regards to the security and stuff like that. Yeah. If
Or you can
somebody is
raise
working
any
already,
questions. Yeah,
sorry.
you can. Yeah, so you can raise any questions in terms of implementing it in the group chat, so that if I could answer by that moment, I will try to answer. If anyone who has seen that scenario earlier, like, will definitely share it across. So
Yeah, I have already discussed this with Nishant, who is working in our firm.
okay,
So
okay,
we will get in touch with you guys. Thank you.
okay. So there's one question about process automation and such, but maybe with the interest of time, maybe I'll try to answer it quickly. I'm sorry for that, but how to differentiate process automation where UiPath test automation can be fit. Uh, yeah, so as I told you, UiPath test suite can be used to test both your application and also your RPA processes. So there is no kind of a differentiation here. It's just a kind of an additional feature where you can use this test suite to test in two different ways, either RPA process or a test automation process. I mean, applications. And you can have those managed with the help of test manager. And then regression testing is up to your choice. You can exclude or include, but basically people won't go for regression testing if it is of having a major changes. Minor changes still can be addressed, and I think it won't take much effort. So yeah, so that's what I can add, but maybe we can discuss offline, and then we still have many sessions coming in line. We can discuss there. But before we wind up, maybe I would appreciate if everyone can turn on your camera or possibly, so that we'll take a quick picture, and then we will wind up for the day. I'll stop the recording as well.